Main.
Not too much, just coming off the heels of another exciting stream that we had earlier on Best Phone Plans. Got to talk about something that was really eating at the back of my cerebellum. But with that being said, you also have some spicy topics lined up for me tonight. You said I'm going to be feeling vindicated. So let's get into it, man. What do we got to talk about tonight?
Well, we're going to do the T-Mobile piece. Pre-orders have been an absolute mess. There's like 2-3 major things that have been problematic with their pre-orders. I got some industry insights coming from like management within carrier stores and stuff like that. So that'll be interesting to see how like the first 48 hours have been going with the launch event and then subsequent pre-orders. I can only speak to the T-Mobile and AT&T side. I can't really speak too much to the Verizon side, a little bit, but like the carriers aren't really handling it very well. With the exception of AT&T, they seem to have really lined up their ducks in a row and things are going pretty smoothly for them. T-Mobile's having trouble on a couple of fronts, and Verizon's just not that competitive. So, like, they're just not going to sell the phones and do the volume that the other two are going to do, for sure. And then also we're going to be talking about Verizon and their uncompetitive ways now coming back to haunt them in the one thing they're supposed to compete in, and that's the home internet. 5G home internet is actually built to succeed. Price point, check. Bundling, check. Venom for cable, check. Like, everything's there. Like, the perfect storm to just add subscribers. I want to talk about maybe how we missed something at the end of Q2. I don't know if I necessarily missed it. I kind of noticed it, a bit of a regression from the fixed wireless growth, but it wasn't substantial enough to say like they weren't growing. But like now with the information we have, it's kind of glaring. Now it's like, oh, this was happening probably near the end of the quarter. With a little bit more time, it probably would have been more notable, you know. So we'll discuss it. And everybody's down on cable, and there's a lot of venom, right? And if you look at the stock market, down on cable, right? But I think there's a chance that cable gets punched in the face really, really hard, like now and in the near future, and then they punch back really, really hard too, you know? So like it's going to be like a heavyweight boxing fight, you know what I'm saying? Like big hooks and uppercuts are coming, you know? And, you know, we'll make it fun because, you know, this stuff can be boring. So we're definitely going to discuss it in a way that you guys could be engaged.
Wait a minute, Sneed. You find my sermons to be boring?
The great telco Jesus has spoken.
All right, bud. Go ahead, man. Get at the, if you have an article, go ahead and pull it up for the money.
I don't.
Oh.
I don't. This is all just conversations I've had with management at Big Blue, at the Big Pink now, right? It's Big Pink, and then and Big Red. These are just insights from people that are selling the phones, people that are managing the stores where they sell the phones, and then just like the pre-orders, okay? And there's people giving me all types of information about port-in issues, port-out issues. So I want to discuss those things. All right, so let's start first with that. The T-Mobile iPhone pre-orders, at least right now, I don't know if they have stabilized things, they figured it out, but there have been a lot of problems with pre-orders. One of the problems with the pre-orders is actually through the Apple website. You go to the Apple website, Dennis, tell them how it went for you and what you had to do in your experience. And then I'm going to share what some other people have indicated to me.
Sure. So for me, I woke up early on the day of the pre-orders and I went through the process on Apple's site, select my model, color, etc. And then I got to a screen where it's like, let's connect your iPhone or something, it says, to T-Mobile. And on that screen, it asks you to put in the phone number to your account and then your T-Mobile PIN that's on the account. It's usually a 6 to whatever 15-digit number or something like that. Well, on that screen, for me personally, I was having verification issues. I tried changing my PIN because in case it was like wrong or something, I logged into my account, changed my PIN, still had issues, just basically waited a day. I ended up calling T-Mobile today, though, spoke with T-Mobile to essentially confirm that my PIN had actually changed, got verified through the IVR that they have, and spoke to a really nice rep. She confirmed it was good, called Apple for me. We ended up having a conference call. Apple was having issues verifying it, so then I had her change the PIN again while I was on the phone with her. After that third change, we were able to get through, and I was able to do my order. And that's what I had to do to get past everything. So it was a verification issue between Apple and verifying my T-Mobile account was basically like real and verified.
All right, so it sounds to me like your problem wasn't even the worst of what some people were seeing. Some people had it worse. Some people were trying to make orders, and then they were trying to call to cancel orders to try to pre-order again, because I guess there were charges, but then there was like no confirmation of the order. So people were calling customer care to do that, and then people that are having like issues with whatever other things that are going on with T-Mobile, it could be network related, could be some other thing. They're all on hold already trying to work out these pre-orders, so people are stuck on hold for like ever, for hours as they deal with all this. So customer service is in a bind right now. They're dealing with all this nonsense. So I then spoke to somebody from the AT&T side, and these would be like regional and store managers, and they're trying to sort out inventory, and they're trying to work through shipments and stuff like that. And then what we're starting to see is that the port-ins are starting to flow into AT&T. And that's interesting because AT&T appears to have a good process, and people are starting to cancel their orders at T-Mobile, and they're even porting out because they're not able to get customer care support. So some people are taking it next level, and they're like, well, fine, I'll just leave T-Mobile and I'll just upgrade through AT&T. They got the best promotion anyway. They're literally leaving for the better promo on the phone. And they're also leaving because they can actually complete the pre-order. Like AT&T's process is working. They're getting hung up though. T-Mobile's not letting them leave freely through the PIN. You know the PIN process. It generates a port out PIN, and then you go through all that.
T-Mobile makes you. So T-Mobile actually redid that process within the last, I'd say, 6 months, where you have to generate it through the app on the My Account app or on the website. It's a random 6-digit PIN. It's not the one that's on the account.
Right.
So it's unique, like how Verizon used to do it, like how Verizon's been doing.
Verizon does it. Right.
Yeah.
They're not playing nicely with AT&T, and AT&T's taking their business. So, I don't know, man. This is getting pretty messy. No issues reported at Verizon with the exception of, like, not big numbers, maybe?
You mean no complaints at Verizon because their promos are the worst, and anybody that's doing it through Verizon
You can get 1,000 from them, but it's like... I'm trying to figure out how they structured it. I think it's $800 and then a $200 gift card if you switch and add a line.
Yeah, you have to port and add a line.
Okay, so that's how you optimize and get the most out of it. So,
but why would you want to go on the network that is dying?
The network that is dying.
The network that is dying.
What?
You disagree with that statement?
Well, what do you mean? I'm
saying that Verizon's network is pretty congested in a lot of parts of the U.S.
Oh, okay. Now I get what you're saying.
And
Gotcha.
their network excellence has been put into question and suspect due to ongoing issues with modernizations to the 5G standalone core and whatever else that you want to talk about that we've covered. And their pricing for plans are the worst in the industry with the most restrictive plans. So even if they did have an exceptional network, the plan would hold you back. The dying network.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, the dying carrier, maybe. I think
the dying carrier.
Is that if that? Yeah, I think because that's what it sounds like. I think it's more about weakness in the plans and viability as a competitor. The network thing, I mean, it doesn't hold weight only because why would they be going to Comcast and Charter?
Right. Okay. Fine. So, like, dying carrier.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. They're just not competitive, and I think that's another issue, which we'll talk about today as well. But so far, it looks like AT&T's pre-orders with the iPhone are phenomenal in terms of just execution. You can get big money in terms of trade-in value. You're going to be on the network for 36 months, but they'll give you the phone, and they'll deliver the phone. They'll process everything great, and it works, and it's going to be the best value in the market. T-Mobile's having trouble with their process or whatever. Verizon is uncompetitive. T-Mobile's actually mostly competitive on Magenta MAX. Even the regular Magenta deals are not that great. It's like half the value, right? So you're on Magenta MAX, you can get 800, you can get 1,000 probably in some way, shape, or form. You're getting 400 or 500 on Magenta. So
yeah,
it's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, we give Verizon a hard time for like forcing people to be on premium, but like, how's this any different?
Oh, T-Mobile was way more guilty. I mean, at least with Verizon, it's get more, do more, play more. Basically, everything that's not Star. T-Mobile, you have to have Magenta MAX. But to T-Mobile's credit, the more lines you get with them because of the free line deal, Magenta MAX becomes more and more alluring with what they're doing with the promos and stuff as far as the money that you get and everything.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys plan on doing any pre-ordering in the next like couple of days, but it could be a mess depending on what you're doing and with which carrier. Oh, snap. We got some peeps up in here. I should have said hellos to some people. Well, we're going to transition to the next topic, so we might as well do it. I see Lawrence. I see Aaron. I see, who is this? We got Jose. Yeah. We got Barry. We have Makeo in the house. TJ is in the house. Alexis coming through from Dallas. Heart. Who goes there?
I see a bird, Sneed. I see a plane. I see a plane, Sneed. No, Sneed. What it actually is, it's the new topic.
That's the new topic. Let's do it, man. We got this next topic, the Verizon failing. They're dropping the ball, Dennis. They're dropping the ball, dog. It's something, I don't want to say I predicted it, but I always thought, and I mentioned it on a podcast, and I was actually going to do a dedicated video to discuss this, but I had already mentioned it on a podcast, so it's not going to be new. I always thought that if Verizon became so uncompetitive and unresponsive with their mobile plans, it could impact their fixed wireless growth. So let's go back to like Q1 2022. Verizon adds 200,000+ fixed wireless consumers. That's impressive, and the reason I say that is because they didn't launch 5G UW until January 19th. And then they had all this FAA problems. They still added a lot of customers up until like March, right? They didn't add 200,000+ fixed wireless consumers in Q2. They should have. They should have added as much or more. Right? It should have been more, actually. Because they scale the upgrades more people knowing about the service, advertising, getting to people, the consumer knows about the product. Word of mouth, people start to discuss it. Hey, I got Verizon Home Internet. I really like it. It's affordable. Here's what I'm paying. People tell family and friends about it, right? They should have probably sold at least 350,000 of those 5G home setups, right? They sold less than in Q1. So Q2, in my estimation, was a failure in fixed wireless. It's growth, but it was limited. It's like, why did they do less than Q1? It doesn't make sense. So in the back of my mind, I'm just thinking, I don't know, maybe it just didn't resonate with anybody because T-Mobile's, it's ascending. You know what I'm saying, Dennis? We're talking about like 560,000 of those of the T-Mobile home internet customers were added last quarter. They're going to do the same thing this quarter. That number is going to be very similar. So why? Why is Verizon not growing? Why is Verizon not adding more of those fixed wireless access subs? It's 100% correlated. If you have Verizon Wireless, you can have their 5G home. Those two things go together because there is a discount to bundle the two together. Your wireless, you get your 5G home for half price. So it's advertised for 50 or $60 depending on the service and if you got auto pay or whatever. You cut it in half if you have the wireless bundled with the 5G home. If a customer gets the 5G home and likes it and everything's cool, but they're like, wait a minute, I'm paying $300 for these lines on Verizon's Premium Unlimited. I can switch to T-Mobile and pay $200 or $220, whatever it is. $80. Let's just say it's an $80 savings, right, Dennis? They're like, I'll just go back to cable for my home internet, and I'll save money by leaving Verizon for wireless. Or I'll go to AT&T. Maybe I qualify for a discount. I can get my wireless service for $240, $260. I'll save $40, right? And then I can go back to my cable operator. Or maybe AT&T's got DSL there, or I don't know, fiber possibly. I don't know. Why would anybody have left fiber? I don't know, but it seems to happen for whatever reason, right? Over $10 or something. So people are starting to get smart. They're shopping. They're doing math. They're calculating, and they're looking at their budget. I can leave Verizon, save $50, $60, $70, $80 a month in mobile service, and then I could just pivot accordingly for my home internet. And just leave Verizon home internet. But that's the driving force of what Verizon is doing. See, this is why it hurts Verizon. Verizon is not only not growing, Dennis, now they're losing customers. When you start to see churn rates, that's not a question of growth. That's a question of loss. So if people are leaving Verizon's mobile wireless service, they're also going to start leaving their fixed home internet too, because they go hand in hand with this discount. So it's a double-edged sword. If you're uncompetitive in your wireless service and your freaking home internet is tied with a discount with the mobile service, you're going to lose customers on both angles. They're leaving fixed wireless, which means the cause of it was not the network, because I've tried 5G home. It's a pretty nice experience, dude. And a lot of people have tried it, and they like it.
I mean,
they're only leaving because of the money, Dennis. That's it. It's simply cost.
And I just want to say, you've heard me say it myself as well. Verizon's implementation of the 5G home fixed wireless internet is the first fixed wireless home internet product that actually feels like a home internet replacement as intended. So it's definitely not, like you said, the quality of the product. But yeah, I mean, we've known this though, right, Steve? Like, this is not new to us, right? Like, we knew it was always down to pricing. It's the biggest problem that people have, or I would argue one of the biggest problems people have had with the cable industry, with the explosive pricing and how expensive it is. And the idea or the concept of bundling is not new, right? This is the same problem that cable faces, right? If they can't get that person to have a second product with them, they are more likely to switch to something else. Verizon's running into the same issue. If they can't convince people to get the home internet, they're going to likely lose that customer to a cheaper mobile player. And then, like you touched on, they will look at other options for getting their home internet needs satisfied. Or there's one other thing we haven't talked about too. There's also been a growing trend in people that just choose to not have home internet at all. We've seen that kind of become a thing to some extent. Look at specifically, we're referencing specifically here the Visible subreddit, where people will get the very affordable Visible $30 plan, and they'll just use that unlimited 5 meg hotspot to satisfy their needs whenever they need to do some schoolwork or something on their laptop.
Moose,
before you go ham, Sneed's already beating me to the punch. Something that also goes well together is Sneed himself and incredible super chats coming in from the community, such as Stephen Smith with the $5 super dono. We want to thank you for the incredible generosity as always, Stephen Smith.
Thanks, Stephen. Moose, what a...
All righty, let me tell you. T-Mobile had one of the worst pre-orders on record. The worst pre-orders on record for an iPhone launch. Let's be very straight up. And I know, Dennis, you're going to go on with the damn thongs. Fuck the thongs, okay? This was very serious, okay? People were so upset. Port ratios for yesterday, where do you think the lion's share of the port ratios went?
Big Blue, man.
Let me get something queued up here, because I know that it's time.
Cue the music, DJ.
Exactly. Give me 1 second. Where do you think they went? You know exactly where they went. They went to the almighty Death Star. The promos were too good, ladies and gentlemen. You don't need to have Magenta MAX. You don't need to have the top tier plan. And I know, Dennis, we talked about this offline. The promos are too good at the Death Star. So
the promos are good, and they're actually executing.
That's right.
I mean, the orders can be processed, and the deliveries will be made, and all those things.
And by the way, I wanted to ask you guys, how many orders, both Apple and carriers, do you think happened yesterday?
I'm gonna guess probably 2 million.
You're close, but no, more.
Like how hot am I? Like I'm burning hot, or like I'm still like just
like
warm?
you're warm, but you're not burning, boiling yet. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, 3.5 million.
Very hot.
Very
hot.
4.1 million.
3.75. In one day, ladies and gentlemen.
It's pretty crazy.
Unbelievable.
Well, I'm one of those people. Finally, Moose. I got my word to go through today.
Very good. Very good. Well, no. I'm talking about yesterday. The weekend, there's anticipation.
Will they hit 5, Moose? Will they hit 5?
No, they're going to hit 8 by the end of the weekend. Yes.
So today's going to be a huge day.
Remember what I was telling you, ladies and gentlemen. AT&T ordered millions more than any competitor because they have the lion's share of the subscriber base on iPhone. So I'm telling you right now, be shocked how many folks took advantage of the promo. And I'm talking iPhone 8. I'm talking even iPhone 7s directly at apple.com. So many people got the phone. I'm honestly surprised that the shipping times haven't gone to November by now. Now, I have gotten some intelligence from T-Mobile folks that since they have low stock anyways, the amount of orders that they're receiving are going to be pushed into November by Monday.
Well, I'm already in October with mine, Moose, so.
Yeah.
But, Moose, you came in a little late. We were actually talking about Verizon's topic. I think you'll want to be in on this one, which is with
give it to me.
Which was with fixed wireless. Sneed, do you want to get him up? Do you want to get the wild Moose up to speed real quick?
Yeah, bro. The Verizon execution. It's really starting to backfire, dog. Being uncompetitive, being non-competitive in the market, it's started to really hurt them. What initially has looked like, okay, they're not really trying to grow, right? They're worried about like being, working in this premium space where they're trying to upsell plans to their current consumer base. Pretty much everything that they've done, even with like the Welcome Unlimited, it was really about getting people into the store and then trying to upsell them. So you're going to walk in and ask about Welcome Unlimited, and then they're going to try to move you to some premium plan. And all of us have questioned it, that they're uncompetitive and they're not growing. Well, now we're starting to see churn in the 5G home internet, and it's built around the premise that people are leaving the 5G home internet because they're leaving the Verizon Wireless mobility side. So the two things, the mobile, the 5G home, are tied together with a discount. Once they leave the wireless side, they don't get the discount, so they're just going to leave the home internet side.
That's right. And a lot of people are having issues with the mmWave internet as well. That's a very small subset, but still people are not happy with that too.
I don't know, man. The reason this is a real problem is there's only one growth vector for Verizon.
Fixed wireless.
It's it. They're not competitive in the wireless and mobile. So where are they going to compete? I mean, the venom for cable is there. Like, people hate cable companies, and they're ready and willing and able to leave. And Verizon's losing out on those customers. Not only are they not gaining them, they're losing the ones that they fought for over the last 6 months. 7 months, whatever.
Well, Sneed, there is one other area of growth for Verizon potentially. And by growth, I don't mean subscriber count wise. I mean more so as far as revenue goes. And that is with fiber. One thing that Verizon has been doing, and they already did this on the wireless side, is they've been increasing pricing for their fiber customers in the areas where they still provide the service. So, for example, gig is now $100. Their 500 meg tier is now $70, which is what gig used to be not even like 3 years ago. And their lowest entry level offering, the 300 meg tier, is now $50 instead of being $40 or $30 respectively. So they are getting some revenue growth there for customers that they can keep on the fiber product. But it's short-lived, and increasing prices as we've seen adds churn.
They're literally hurting themselves with a double whammy. You're not winning in wireless, and now it's going to hurt the one thing that you're supposed to win on because it's priced well. Like, who's unwilling to pay $50 for a good home internet experience? Most people would.
Was priced well. $50 in a vacuum is not terrible, and it's actually
at 25.
And 50. Well, let me finish. $50 is not a bad price point, like at all, especially when we talk about a fiber product at 300 by 300. The problem is, Sneed, is the everyday consumer does not have an appreciation for symmetrical upload. And that's just the truth. When you have Comcast with their significantly better marketing due to their ability to really pinpoint those ads in traditional and in an online presence, offering $30 price points for 300 meg, it's no wonder why people wouldn't switch, especially, too, with how much they've ramped up the mobile promotions with the 2 for $60 promo. That's been blasted all over the place in Pittsburgh. You even hear it on the radio.
Wow.
So when you hear ads like, yeah, get your home internet and 2 lines of mobile for as low as with the extra $10 discount for as low as $20 a month. There you go.
Meanwhile, T-Mobile appears to be converting on Magenta MAX. And then they're slapping people discounts on the 5G home that way, on the fixed wireless. So, look, everybody else in the mobile market and the home internet market is growing in some way. So cable companies aren't growing in like their standard consumers, but they're like getting adoption for for mobile wireless service. So they're like keeping their customers sticky, right? So you're not going anywhere because you have multiple services with us. You have TV, you have home internet, now you got wireless. You ain't going a damn place, right? We've made it hard for you to leave us. So this ARPU, this revenue, it's staying here. You're not going to go anywhere else for anything. Verizon is trying to play that same card, but their mobile service it's unattractive. So people are leaving. So cable's doing it right, retaining customers mostly. They lost some cable, but it's not that bad. What is it? 60,000 or something they lost.
350,000 is what I thought they lost.
And as a whole industry?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about like the cable internet.
Oh, internet?
I don't think they care if they lose TV. I don't.
Oh, internet? Yeah, they only lost like 60
combined. It was combined between Comcast and Charter.
Yeah, right? 60,000.
Yeah, so it's not that bad, and fixed wireless is gaining big. So like if you put those together, you're like, oh, it's not that bad. But I think what customers that cable would have been adding went to fixed wireless, right? So maybe that's kind of how that number.
Yeah, but a lot of those customers that they were going to add were probably places where cable wasn't going to add them anyway because they don't have the footprint there, right? Like they're rural or parts of suburban where cable hadn't built out yet.
Yeah.
But I think there's something more important here. You said something that kind of stuck out to me personally. So you said that Verizon's wireless plan offerings weren't attractive. I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. What we got to think about here is, what is the main crux? What is the core product that brings a customer to the company, right? In the case of cable, it's home internet, right? And in that space, for the majority of the U.S., there's only realistically one option, right? So it's not like people even had a choice to think about something else anyway. And even if they did, they're probably not aware of it, right? So they were going to be forced to buy that home internet anyway, like you're forced to buy from your electric company. That makes it easier and makes it more logical sense for cable then to be able to structure this bundling concept. In the case of Verizon trying to copy that strategy, the reason why it doesn't work is because in the wireless space, which is what attracts people to Verizon, there is two very prevalent other options that people are aware about, and that doesn't even begin to touch on all the different MVNO options, right? That's why when they try to bundle in and make people sticky with the fixed wireless, it doesn't really work, in my opinion, from my view of the situation. If it was reversed and home internet was also Verizon's main focus and they had that to keep people sticky, sort of like what AT&T has been doing with the fiber build out, I think they would have had more success with their bundling strategy.
You know, one of the things that I just recently found out, Dennis, which is probably going to be surprising for a lot of users, a lot of the community. Did you know that people who have AT&T fiber, a lot of folks never read their emails, never read the app, never read any text messages that they receive, that they get 25% off list?
Yeah, that's not surprising.
It's not surprising, but it was surprising that they are able to take advantage of the HBO Max, but they didn't know that they had the 25% off offer on wireless. And they're on Verizon, they're on T-Mobile. There is so many ways to get more subscribers leveraging the fiber. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, but but Moose, do you know why people aren't aware of it and like the big reason?
Mm-hmm.
It's because AT&T is trying to only strategically do the texting and the email way of notifying customers, but they're not doing the Comcast approach, which is if you call into Comcast, when you listen to the robot, you hear it when you're on hold. Did you know that you can get Xfinity Mobile for blah, blah, blah and save up to $10 to $20 off your internet service?
That's good.
And,
that sounds pretty good, Dennis.
And Comcast's got the billboards, they got the mailers. I swear to God, every week, like clockwork, Moose, there is 3 mailers in my mailbox from Xfinity, typically on like this like thick plastic with like a little plastic looking piece of card talking about call now and how I can save on wireless. AT&T doesn't take it to that level. They keep that 25% discount. Relatively speaking, like I know they send the emailers out, but relatively speaking, it's hidden. I don't get that when I call AT&T Wireless. I don't get that in TV commercials from them. I don't hear the radio ads from them, and you're gone. I killed Moose.
Let's do this super chat real quick. Super chat from Low Key. Slight change in topic. iPhone 12 won't support C-band on AT&T. That's not true. It does support the upper C-band. It does not support the lower C-band.
And I can confirm that because when I first spotted C-band in Pittsburgh, it was off the 12 Pro Max using a Los Blue line at the time.
Yeah, so that's that. And C-band fully on Verizon. I mean, yeah, because they only use the upper C-band, so you'll get the full experience, I suppose. You won't be chopped up into 2 parts. But that's kind of how things played out for AT&T. It worked out for their saving money on the network, which is good for them. Maybe it allows them to build a little faster, a little bit deeper, but it a little harmful to consumers as they've come back and said retroactively we will not be, providing DoD support on the 12 and the 13 generation.
Hey, but that's the private company way, Sneed. Save money in my pocket and then just, screw over the customer. That's the AT&T and private company way, isn't it?
I mean, that's how these guys work, man.
I'm joking, but I'm a little bit peeved that the 13 doesn't even get support for it.
It's messed up, Dennis. It is totally messed up. Super chat from Steven Smith. Thank you, man. Appreciate the super chat.
We touched that one already. Yeah.
Oh, this one just came in.
Oh, dang. Yeah, Steven coming in with 2 tonight. Okay.
Yeah, he hit us with the deuce, man. He hit us with 2 of them. The 12, like, it sucks that the 12 doesn't support the DoD. Like, it's less than ideal. The 13 not supporting DoD is a travesty. That one hurts. People literally just bought that phone like 3 weeks ago, Dennis. A month ago, 2 months ago, right?
And they're still selling the 13, mind you.
They're going to keep selling the 13. There's inventory for the 13th, right? So that's not going to change. That's not stopping. The phones are going for sale. They still carry the cases. You know, they're going to be telling people, here's your promo for a 14, here's your promo for a 13, 14 out of stock, we got a 13, get a better price on the 13. And then what are you going to do? Tell them, hey, look, you're going to be out on about 40 megahertz of bandwidth on this 5G mid-band. They're not going to tell them that. They're going to sell them the crappy 13. It's not a crappy phone, but it's crappy on AT&T because you're going to feel like you're missing out on something.
Listen, I'm going to bet you about 75% of the sales reps at AT&T don't even know this anyway. Like, and this is not to be
the AT&T situation. They've always been a carrier aggregation based network. Like, how many phones, even that are on the network today, still don't have access to band 14?
True. And
how many phones don't have access to band 30 or 29?
Oh, so true. And this is not to throw shade, by the way, at anybody that works for AT&T, but it's not uncommon for me to have conversations with T-Mobile or AT&T reps and actually end up walking away and be like, oh, you taught me something new. But anywho.
Man, Dennis, I can't tell you how many times I've walked into a carrier store and they get to talk and I'm just like, bro, you don't want to take it there with me, man. Like, you don't want to talk about networks with me. You don't want to talk about, these things. Don't even start. Because they want to sit there and like try to tell you, like, do you have any idea? Like, like, what do? Go up there, grab a remote control, go to the YouTube app on their little TV on their monitor, put it on Sneed Mobile Tech, put it on a podcast, and it's me and Dennis railroading some carrier talking about a network, or maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know, man. They don't. Look. My biggest nightmare is to walk into a carrier store and they recognize me and they tell me to leave, or something like.
I mean, that's fine. I'd be like, cool, I'll be talking about you, Brian,
on
tonight's show.
I don't want to be like, well, if they're honest, they're like, look, I don't want any of that smoke. Leave me off of this.
Yeah, Brian, I'll be talking about you on tonight's show, and yeah, I guess you're going to be missing out on the commission because mine was a really easy deal.
A super chat from Santiago. Thank you, man. He said, I had major issues pre-ordering my iPhone through the iPhone upgrade program. Somehow got one for pickup for next Saturday. That's not bad, man. That worked out pretty nicely.
I'm waiting until October, but I'm glad I got to go through. So I'm in my rush to be broke, like Steve would say
it. I don't know which model he was getting or what storage. I'm guessing that could matter. Color, storage.
I did black 512 gig, which I would have thought would have been less...
No, dude, people want like purple. People want, what is it, like a coral or something? There's some lighter colors.
No, I'm saying like I would have thought I would have got this on the 16th, considering the color and variant I got, but it's already pushed out to October. So,
then maybe what we're thinking is wrong. Maybe people want the traditional.
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that black and silver sell the best, and then purple and gold be the worst sellers, personally.
Oh, there's a deep purple?
Yeah.
I thought it was like a lavender.
I don't know, man.
So you're not buying the Thanos iPhone, huh?
Nah, Moose is dead, though. I really want to hear the part where I get to be vindicated. When do I get to be vindicated on your show?
Right now, Dennis. So, cable is winning. As long as Verizon is failing to compete and unable to properly sell their fixed wireless access, the pain at big cable is going to be short-lived and to a lesser degree. So Verizon threw a jab, little jab.
No, this
right?
is what Verizon threw. A little slap.
Yeah, exactly. It's just this little thing. T-Mobile's throwing a haymaker. Just saying. Because they're throwing a big punch. Cable's going to weather the storm pretty easily. Because the only way I really thought cable was going to feel the pain was if it was a double whammy Verizon and T-Mobile, because it's 2/3 of the wireless market. We're talking about a company that puts up cell towers nationally. You know what I mean? They could offer the 5G home internet anywhere. And Verizon was Verizon is supposed to have like 4 million customers on fixed wireless access by 2025 or something. Dog, that's not going to happen at this rate. It's going to be like 3. And that's if they can sustain 200,000 net adds a quarter. If it drops to 100, if there's some quarters where it's 50, then all bets are off. They're not going to hit that for like a decade.
Are they reporting net adds? I thought they were just reporting gross adds.
Yeah, they report net adds.
Okay.
Yeah. Big shout out to LeBaron Burton. LB, what up, bruh? Appreciate that super chat, man. Big shout out to Popcorn World. Yeah.
He threw 3 haymakers at you, Sneed.
Yep. He followed up bong, bong.
But yeah, I agree with your assessment. And I think that honestly, even if Verizon was obtaining the growth that you were hoping for, or what people were hoping for in the fixed wireless space, I still think they would have struggled considering the timeline for when the growth was supposed to happen. I mean, on my earlier show, we saw the official release from Comcast Corporate. By the end of this year, there's already going to be 37 cities that have the mid splits and are ready for DOCSIS 4 for ramp up. And 2025 is when they're going to hit the 50 cities and 50 million homes and businesses, which is basically the entirety of their footprint, and have the symmetrical speed offerings. Once that happens, fixed wireless' opportunity for stealing cable customers becomes significantly diminished now, because there's no way fixed wireless can compete with a symmetrical product, because that's basically a fiber-esque experience. And then it just comes down to pricing, and we already know and have seen from Comcast that they are very willing to reevaluate their promotional structuring with how they removed contracts, the 2-year price locks, include the modem rental, include the unlimited data over in the western and central parts of the United States. So
you got to strike when the iron is hot. Right now for fixed wireless access, the iron is hot. So Verizon is derailing their own train by not competing. They're hurting themselves, bro. It's not T-Mobile hurting them. It's not cable hurting them. It's literally themselves. They're hurting their own chances. The momentum has already been disrupted. If we find out that they only have like 80,000 net adds in fixed wireless access this quarter, and that's their only growth vector, it's the only thing that Verizon has in their future in adding customers, I think Hans Vestberg, I think you got to cut ties immediately. I don't call for people to get fired, but dude, how stubborn can you be? You're literally watching everything good about your future go out the window. The fixed wireless access iron is hot now. You're going to literally throw a bucket of ice on the fixed wireless access fire. You're derailing the train. And once that momentum is gone, Dennis, cable's back in play. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is your chance. You're ruining it. You could be growing in wireless. Slowly, but you could be. And then that slow growth enables fast, rapid growth on fixed wireless with 5G home. They're stupid. Hans Vestberg looks stupid.
Yeah.
The upper management team at Verizon looks dumb. And dude, he's clearly brilliant. You don't get to these places by mistake. How stubborn could you be, though? You're literally saying, we don't care. And how many quarters do you tolerate that as board members at Verizon?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know it's fun to make fun of Hans and his new crocodile shoes, as we like to joke, but I don't know if this is something that really... I mean, is it really his fault, I guess, is what I'm going for with this, right? Like, hear me out. Just hear me out for a second. How? Okay.
What?
Anyway, back to what I was saying. Is it really his fault? Because like, what we got to remember here, Sneed, is like, in these large conglomerates, these large companies, right? There's a lot of stakeholders that have to be pleased, right? Like, it's not like Hans is Emperor Palpatine, like dictator of the world, that gets to just say like, yeah, this is what we're gonna do. It's more like, I want to do this thing. Let's run it by finance, by the investors, by the blah, by the blah, 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 right? And at the end of the day, like, his voice ends up, even though he's the top dog that represents the face of the company at these like shareholder meetings, his voice and impact is ultimately pretty small. Like, he might be able to say like, this is the ultimate vision for what we want to do for fixed wireless, but he doesn't get to actually say what the actual finer points are in the execution to get to that journey, right? That's left up to a bunch of different people along the way. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that is especially hard to swallow in a publicly held company is the concept of taking on losses for long-term success, right? Like,
So, Dennis, who's running Verizon?
Hans?
And hasn't he fired all of his second-in-commands over the last 6 months?
Yes.
Who's left?
Hans.
What is there really to discuss?
I'm just
because
saying,
the plan and the execution's still the same. All these people are coming and going. Hans is still there. The plan is still there.
I'm just saying, what I'm getting at here, Sneed, is like in other industries that aren't telecom, it's more readily accepted for losses to happen for growth, like things like Uber, platform companies like Netflix or something like that, right? Like, they don't look at profit margins, right? But in the telecom space, if there's a moment where profit margins even shrink by a percentage point, the sky is falling, Chicken Doolittle happens from the stakeholders, right? We've seen it happen with AT&T.
Sure, yeah.
So all I'm saying is that, like, for all we know, Hans might really want to do something more aggressive, but literally has his hands tied. Plus, there's one other thing that's worth mentioning, too. If Verizon lowers their prices, it's like Pandora's box. It'll be darn near impossible for them to ever be able to raise them again. Even if they add on the most infinite value in the world, we know, looking at other countries, what happens when postpaid operators begin a price war.
Right, but something fundamentally has changed in the market. The customer has spoken. They have literally said, we will take a network that is within 90% of Verizon's as long as we're paying less money. All you have to be is almost as good as Verizon, and you can have our dollars. That's literally what the market has said. Because there's now churn, and it's the most, volatile economic time in a long while, right? When we're just looking at just general economics. People are worried about transgressions within the marketplace and recessions and how much their dollar can get them and things like this conversation wouldn't be had in 2019. Hans looked brilliant in 2019. Hans looks like a failure in 2022. The discussion about Hans Vestberg is probably going to end up like something like this. Phase 1 Hans, things were fantastic. The boat was sailing along. And then they're going to say the end of Hans Vestberg, it was a sinking ship for the last 2-3 years.
The biggest problem for Verizon, though, at the end of the day, do you want to know what the biggest problem is for them overall? It's not the strategy in its of itself. It's the fact that the strategy is being executed at these times based off external factors that they haven't taken into account to adapt to. You touched on the economic situation and people's concerns, whether justified or not. It's not the right time to be making the premium play happen, right? If this was 2012 booming economy, this strategy works decently well, or at the very least, it could work better, right? I don't know. We got a super chat, though.
Yep. This one is from Steven again. Thanks, Steven. AT&T is eating Verizon's lunch and dinner. AT&T will become the new coverage leader. I don't know. Verizon's got a pretty big network too, dog.
I have a different question because it answers one for me, Sneed. Josh Posey commented, "Why did I get the T-Mobile iPhone no millimeter wave antenna?" That's not true, is it?
What happened?
iPhone 14 Pro Max, no millimeter wave antenna?
No, it has millimeter wave.
Okay, yeah. I'm not crazy. Cool.
Who's saying it doesn't?
The comment that I highlighted from Josh.
How does that even make sense? There's one United States model. It's the same model that Puerto Rico's getting too. It's all the U.S. model.
He said it's rumored, I guess. I've heard rumors that this is the case. Similar to the Canadians, 14s don't have millimeter wave either.
Wait, that's confirmed?
Canadians models don't have millimeter wave.
They don't?
No.
Oh.
Sneed, you just look like just so depressed. You're like,
bro, that's like horrible.
You look like someone stole your candy.
So there's no plans on Canada getting millimeter wave? Like, I know they don't network it currently, but like, what the actual hell are we talking about here? Like, the U.S., the biggest U.S. carrier, has a substantial millimeter wave build in the most populated cities in the country. You mean to tell me that all this for nothing? They don't want to support it? What?
I mean, they're not doing fixed wireless though. So.
Josh, Josh, I'll check Twitter. Okay.
Okay, Josh, I see how it is. Don't slide in my DMs either.
I don't know what to tell. I feel like that's gotta be a typo. Like, and you know what? It wouldn't shock me if T-Mobile's gonna push the narrative that millimeter wave, no, leave us out of this. We don't want to do millimeter wave. No,
I will return that phone in a heartbeat if there's no millimeter wave.
Bro, it is so crucial in those high leverage situations. Like, even if you don't live in a 5G ultra wideband city, you mean to tell me for the lifetime you own that phone, when you go to a certain concert venue,
look at the Super Bowl,
you wouldn't want to use your phone? And I mean, the network could tank. It's the only technology we currently have that is like tank proof. You know, you can't. Nobody's been able to congest. People are like, oh, look, millimeter wave's congested. And they show me like a speed test, 800 megs. Are you serious? You trying to prove a point that millimeter wave is congested at 800 megabits per second? All right. Cool.
Hey, Jay Volstead said something in Canadian. Sorry, I don't speak Canadian.
Dude, I remember somebody was saying that T-Mobile is congested, and I think it was, I don't know what arena it was in or something. But
can we define hold up, because we get this all the time, right? Can we define what congested actually means, Sneed? Like, legitimately. Like, let's
congestion is when your video buffers. Congestion is when your calls are failing and dropping or won't get placed. Your text messages won't go through. That is congestion.
So, I'm a little bit different. Well, I agree with what you basically said for the most part. The only difference is that I consider 5G to be its own separate issue. Everything you said about LTE, for like LTE and below, agreed. So that would be basically anything, like, let's just say less than 5 meg. Sound like a fair spot?
Under 5 meg?
Yeah.
Yeah, because your video could buffer.
Yeah, so anything under 5 meg on LTE, congested. For 5G, however, and I'm going to be very specific here, for mid-band frequencies or higher, once you get down to 50 meg, that is, like, anything below 50 is what I would consider to be congested for 5G. Is that a fair and reasonable expectation, since 5G is supposed to provide at least 10x the bandwidth of LTE?
Mid-band 50, sure. Millimeter wave 100, how's that?
Deal. I'm fine with that higher standard.
Yeah, I feel like, because the mid-band channels might only have gig backhaul. Maybe the expectation should be a little lower, right? But you're not doing millimeter wave on 1 gig backhaul.
My point was that if congestion is 5 or less on LTE, it should be 10x that on a 5G.
Yeah, I get it. I'm with that.
Yeah. Because there's method to my logic, right? Like, but hold up. Someone said that they have an iPhone 13 with, oh, here we go. Jaime said he has an iPhone 13 Pro without millimeter wave. I thought the iPhone 13 Pro was the same deal. All the models had millimeter.
I think he's saying in Canada, so they had models that were without millimeter wave.
Gosh. Listen, for people that don't know, look, I was a naysayer a little bit about millimeter wave early on until I actually got to experience millimeter wave. And then I realized that it's not a matter of me just putting my hand. I mean, it can block it if you put it in front of the signal. Like, it could definitely hurt the signal, but like, it's not just going to drop that flimsily. Like, Pittsburgh on these roof-mounted sites, specifically where the millimeter wave is, man, it reaches pretty far. And I know over in Canada, in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, and stuff like that, where it's like really well optimized and where it's like literally on every other block, it's really good. Millimeter wave is just, to me, it's a fundamental, critical part of deploying a real 5G network. Like, a network without millimeter wave cannot, in my opinion, truly ever live up to the hopes and promises that 5G says it will bring to us.
Josh is right. If you go to the band listing for the new iPhones, T-Mobile does not include millimeter wave, nor do they include N77 C-band.
On T-Mobile's website?
On T-Mobile's website. So to me, that doesn't mean that their model doesn't support millimeter wave. It means their listing on their website is not including it. That they've chosen to do that.
Yeah, that's nothing new. That's a firmware thing.
I guarantee you buy your iPhone from T-Mobile, you can put in a Verizon SIM and connect to a millimeter wave node.
Yeah, so okay.
Dennis, you're going to get your device, what, October something?
Yeah.
October. And it's going to be unlocked, right?
Yes, because I bought it from Apple.
You are going to put a Verizon SIM in it? You are going to find does your home site have it?
No, but it has N77, so I can test that.
Well, yeah, so you can confirm these.
Yes, and I'll just say this. This is nothing new that carriers don't necessarily list all the bands of their competitors on their phones, and it's also nothing new that they would turn off in the firmware certain bands as well. I guarantee it's just the wrong listing.
Bro, straight up, Apple is not going to ship iPhones to the U.S. that are a different model than all the other iPhones going to the U.S. AT&T is getting the same thing that Verizon's getting, that's getting the same thing that T-Mobile's getting. It's the U.S. version of the iPhone, whatever that model number is.
I'm going to correct you slightly because that's not necessarily true. The only circumstance where Apple would do something like that is we went back to having Qualcomm and Intel models. But even then, it was only two. It was never going to be one singular carrier specific.
Yeah, that was stupid, by the way. That was really stupid.
Josh, you're saying you hope it's the case, and I'm telling you it's definitely the case. Like, it's one model for the U.S. It's been that way now since the 12.
Man, I don't want an iPhone without millimeter wave in Cleveland, Ohio. I don't. I don't want it. I use millimeter wave enough to where all my phones need to have millimeter wave. It's awesome.
I don't use millimeter wave enough to that point because I'm not downtown Pittsburgh enough for that to be a justified thing. But I will say it's important. It's important enough that I would not buy a phone if it lacks it, because in the situations where I do need it, it's important.
Ryan, it's not a typo. They did this on purpose. They purposely left out C-band and millimeter wave because that's what Verizon does. They have millimeter wave and C-band. This is 100%. That is it.
Let me just say something else real quick. Good chance that you see C-band gets added when T-Mobile deploys it.
Yeah, but it's launched now, right? And they don't give a damn, and they're not going to have any radios hung until 2023. You know.
Hey, Sneed, I got a tweet from Z Woods during our stream. He asked me how is @me going to test when it's all eSIM this year. And I think the answer is simple. All three MNOs support eSIM.
I mean, you can even do the dual eSIM simultaneous.
Yep, which is what I already do. I got the whole reason I went over to iPhone in the first place. So people are really against this whole eSIM thing. But like legitimately, the whole reason I switched from Android in the first place, right, and made iPhone my daily was for what reason, Sneed? It was for the fact that eSIM is supported on iPhone, like actually by the carriers.
Oh, it works. The eSIM process works. Yeah. There's a lot of people that are pissed on Samsung in the eSIM situation.
Oh, 100%. I mean, dude, the S22, the S20 was supposed to have eSIM and like never got it until like the tail end of things. I don't even know if it ever did. S21 was the same deal with the US variant being screwed over, and then the S22 was the first one that actually had it on day one, and even then it's kind of crappy.
Hey, Justin, thank you for the super chat. He'd rather buy a Canadian iPhone with a SIM card slot.
Okay.
Dang. Yeah, man, people love it. I prefer a physical SIM card, Dennis. I
prefer having it there. I'm not saying I'm like jazzed. Like, I guess what I'm going for here is like, part of me is happy because I know that the industry moves with Apple, and since this has become a thing, it means that carriers are going to have to either adapt or die, which means eSIM gets implemented, right? On the other hand, it's an inconvenience in the interim until that happens, because there's a lot of places, specifically in Eastern Asia and Africa in general, that don't have support for eSIM at the moment. But it is what it is.
Yeah, Josh, that's interesting. I still think that it's just a... Bro, can we agree that T-Mobile's petty? Is T-Mobile petty? Are they capable of doing this? Just omitting the fact that, that's what Verizon does, so they're probably just throwing shade. It's kind of like a troll, I suppose. They don't want people to think, oh, I can take my T-Mobile phone to Verizon, or I can take my T-Mobile phone to AT&T.
I kind of want to use it for Dish too, by the way. That's another reason why I got the 14 Pro Max.
Yeah, definitely. They got to do eSIM, and they got to do BYOD. Let's see here. The T-Mobile iPhone 14 has a mmWave window on the side of the phone. What? Do you know what Darren's talking about?
I think he's talking about how, like, on the iPhones, there's the antenna, like, right around here for 5G, and where all the mmWave antennae are. If you take off the case.
Yeah. Yeah, there are external antennas.
It's this little bit, like, right. Oh, God.
That's one of them. One of them. There's more.
Yeah, there's one on the other side, too. But, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's what because I wasn't getting the window thing. I was picturing, like, a little segment of glass on there.
I'm more pissed off about... People are so pissed about eSIM, but I'm more pissed off about the fact that it doesn't support Wi-Fi 6E.
I don't understand how a phone can be manufactured in 2022 and not have Wi-Fi 6E.
Especially when we have Wi-Fi 7 around the corner.
Maybe they go straight to Wi-Fi 7 in 2 years.
And they'll probably do a crappy 2x2 MIMO antenna and get on the Wi-Fi to cheap out.
Ah, man. Yeah. My wife's always like, and this is before I started using iPhones for testing. It was when I was just using Galaxies and Pixels. My wife's always like, why is your Wi-Fi faster? I mean, we're on the same connection. I'm like, yeah, but no. We're on the same Wi-Fi connection. What my Wi-Fi is doing is different than yours. And it's been like that for a long time, Dennis.
I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter that much because I'm still able to get, like, let's just run a speed test. I'll say I'm able to get pretty much 500-ish. Give or take, pretty regularly. Ish. Yeah, 500.
500 down. What do you get on the up, Dennis?
You'll see in 2 seconds. But realistically speaking, if I had 4x4 MIMO, this would be closer to like 800 probably. And if it had support for Wi-Fi 6E, I could get gig.
Is that about 600 plus on your uplink?
Yeah, 621.
All right, let's see what old Schneesh is doing.
So, I mean, it's not a problem. Like, I've never had an issue with my Wi-Fi at my house, but it's still an issue because the extra MIMO also helps with range. Like, I have multiple access points to use floor, but for someone that's going to just use one router to try to cover their whole home, having that extra antenna could help out in those fringe areas.
Well, a larger home, you probably want to look at another access point of some sort, right?
Right, but I'm just thinking about the average American, right? Most Americans buy a router or rent their gateway from their ISP, and they call it a day.
This is like the hardest thing to do.
I'm just happy you got your webcam back.
I don't even know if you can see this.
It's upside down and backwards, so
Sheesh.
Just read it off. What is it?
Let me see if I can do this for you.
No, I'm saying like the numbers are backwards. Like I'm.
Why is it formatted like this? Okay, 944 down, 601 up.
And it's probably because you have in your settings for your webcam, you probably have it mirrored. So
Mirrored. I wonder if that's in these settings, actually. The video settings that's on Restream.
Oops.
Oh, it is mirror. It was. I knew it. Because I don't... See, now we're back. See, now we're good.
All right, now try showing it.
All right, here.
There you go. I'm guessing that's the 6E, by the way, on the Lambo.
Yep.
God, man. 940 just about. That's insane. My God. Your uplink's a little suspect, but your downlink, my God.
Yeah, I wonder why. Yeah, 930 to the wireless, dog. To the like that ain't Ethernet, bro. That's wireless. Let me try the that's the Wi-Fi 6E. Let me just try the other one and see if it's any different.
Wi-Fi 6 will probably cap out around, I'm going to guess 700.
For the downlink?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And the uplink.
So you think it'll be like basically symmetrical in the 6s? 7?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Assuming you have really ideal setup. Big assumptions being made. Oh my. You're breaking my expectations, Sneed. Sneed, you're breaking my expectations.
942 and 619.
Yeah. So, Sneed, do you want to know how this works? Sneed?
I need to get my thing in focus, dude.
Wow.
Dying over here. Oh, no.
What you need is a better webcam.
Yeah, this one's long in the tooth, man. It's old.
But Sneed, you want to know what that means? I
What
bet
does it
you if
mean?
you were to go into your Wi-Fi connection established rate, it'd probably show as 2.4 gigabits per second. And because Wi-Fi is half duplex, that means you have 1.2 gigabits per second of allocated bandwidth on the downstream and the upstream. And that is the reason why you were able to get your 940, thanks to having that 4x4 MIMO and all that fancy stuff.
Flex, Dennis. Flex.
My Wi-Fi knowledge brings all the girls to the yard.
Oh, man. What else? 14 Pro doesn't support 6E either. Damn, man. Not even the freaking
Oh, Kevin hit on
model.
something that really hits home. The fact that iPhone in 2022 still has USB 2.0 speeds for transfer. Also,
the fact that they don't want to invest in anything about transfer until they go portless.
also for Jay Volstad, I have Verizon Fios as my primary ISP, and then Sneed has AT&T. That's his only ISP.
I have SMT fiber. I don't. What is this AT&T fiber you're speaking of?
You're right. He went to Emperor Palpatine himself and got it from the Death Star.
Can we talk about like the death of the autofocus? Like I'm still trying to.
What kind of webcam are you using, man?
Dude, I don't know. It's some Logitech that I bought back in the day. Like
It's definitely got Logitech software that you can control it with if you download it. If you download the drivers. But yeah, Verizon Fios primary. I do have a Comcast backup connection, redundant, but Fios primary.
Guess what I'm doing tonight, Dennis?
Eating scallops.
Close. Chicken wings. I'm gonna go watch the UFC fights, bro.
Ooh, who's fighting?
We got Nate Diaz versus Tony El Kukui Ferguson. All right. I need to upgrade the iPhone 14 selfie cam. I don't know, dude.
By the way, Sneed, did you see that Magenta military customers don't get to take advantage of the Magenta MAX discount for iPhone 14?
Seriously?
Dead serious. It was posted on Reddit.
Dude, do not. And you know how many people like legit like use T-Mobile like for their military discount like that they
Which
like
I find shocking considering FirstNet exists, but I digress.
Dude, I will not be eating the wings with ranch. You eat wings with blue frickin' cheese.
Don't get Sneed started on this. We'll have a fight on stream. And
It's literally blue cheese.
and Sneed will lose.
Wings.
And Sneed will lose because ranch is great on
Ranch
wings.
is salad dressing.
No, ranch is American flavor.
Dude, there's seriously something clinically wrong with you, dog.
Dude, the thing that's clinically wrong with me right now at the moment is that I'm not enjoying some wings with ranch dipping sauce.
No, you're gross. Disgusting animal. Creature. What do you mean? What do you mean blue cheese is disgusting? Brandon, that is a terrible take, sir. I disrespectfully disagree.
Blue cheese is disgusting.
Dennis, I hate you. Everything was good. The whole show was phenomenal, and you just ruined everything.
You hate me because you ain't me.
Yeah, whatever. I'm going to go get wings, Dennis. You good for the show?
What, the soul man this?
Let's do it, man.
Oh, you can end it. Yeah.
Let's end it.
In fact, do we want to give a shout out to Technoid? He started a show at 8. He invited
All right.
us.
I'll be over there to watch as I make my way over to the fights. I'll be listening and watching. I'll be in the chat. Head over to Technoid's show. Any mods that can get me the link, put that in the live chat. Do that, and then everybody knows where we'll be hanging out. Dennis, pop in there and say hello, man, in the live chat.
Oh, no, I'm going to pop on real quick with him.
And sweet.
Right. And then, yeah, I've been doing marathon, and after I get done with this long marathon, people can restart the cycle by checking out best phone plans.
There you go, man. You're the best. Appreciate you, Dennis. Thanks to everybody who offered super chats, donos. Please do like, share, and subscribe. If it's your first time here, definitely become a part of the SMT Nation. Just watch the content, engage with the content, share it and like it and all that good stuff, and we appreciate all that you guys do. Hashtag 20K. We did it. 20,000 subs. We're here. We out this piece.